this place so dry, no love to find. You're the only one that ever acts kind. They all after me, what's happening? I wish that you could see what I see. Your boyfriend's a douche that thinks he's cool and doesn't deserve a girl like you.
Hey guys, it's me, Nagato Uzumaki Whitaker. Today I'm back with part 12 to What If Deku Was Neglected and Was Cheated On. Now, at this point, you guys probably expect me to be gone for a week, but I am going to start uploading more, like I say I am. I'm going to schedule some uploads for the next week or two. Before we get into part 12 to What If Deku Was Neglected and Was Cheated On, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell your friends to do all three of the things you just did. So, let's get in. So, in as I said last time, Deku was just chilling in his dorm room after defeating Overhaul like it was practically nothing, and was just watching some videos, and when he found a gentle criminal video. And so he was watching it and he got interested because he saw that unlike the League of Villains and unlike Overhaul, their motive wasn't that evil. Because he had left all the cash behind. And so he checked out some of his other videos where he had robbed a bank and held a decently sized store hostage. But anytime he was given money or any purse or anything of value, he left it there. So Deku thought about his actions, the reason he would upload them without trying to get caught, and the reason he'd leave anything materialistic or anything worth of value behind. And so he came to one of three conclusions. He came to three conclusions, and he knew one of them had to be right. Either he was trying to get noticed by somebody like One for All, or All for One, or the Yakuza, or a big crime syndicate like that. 2, he was trying to make a name for himself and be remembered as one of the best criminals in history. That, or he was just, or either that or he was possibly the worst human on Earth and was just doing it for the fun. So, Deku decided that when he caught him, he was going to ask him. And it didn't have to be that hard. He just had to wait for him to attack Yue. Because he knew that Yue had some upcoming events in a week or so. He didn't know exactly what they were, but he heard teachers talking about it. So he knew that he just had to wait for word to get to Gentle Criminal, and he just had to wait for the festival. Or, he didn't know it was a festival. He just had to wait for what was happening. So Deku sits down, and he starts thinking. And he's about to take a nap, but then he thinks about what Gentle Criminal's power is. Because what if he has a power that's like All for Ones, or like Monoma? Or what if he has a power to, like, eraser heads where he could erase quirks, or what if he could delete quirks entirely? What if he could delete the person's ability on how to use their quirk? They still know that they still had it, it's just they didn't know how to use it. They had to learn their entire quirk again. He didn't know what he could or couldn't do, or who wasn't with him. So instead of taking his nap, Deku decided to strengthen his quirk, but also decided to strengthen just his body. Because this entire time, he has been working out, but he has relied heavily on his quirk. So he was going to train his physical body a lot more. So he decided, okay. And he was going to ask for a few workout plans from a few different heroes. And he knew he had about a month till this event was coming to school. So he would do one plan each week. So he'd need 3 plans from 3 different heroes. And so since he's going to be working on his strength and speed and intelligence, he asked for Aizawa, since Aizawa is decently strong, fast, and smart. He asked for I'm not gonna say Endeavor. I'm gonna say that Ida's brother is out of the hospital by now, and I forgot what his name was, but he asked him for a plan, and he asks Gang Orca for a plan, since he's also still interning with him. So he trains his body for what he knows is going to come. And so a week before the event happens, so they give the students enough time to plan. So when he starts his 3rd week of training, and I'm going to say he's taller than in canon, because I know in canon he's like one of the shortest in the class. I'm going to say here he's around... He goes to like All Might's... He goes to like All Might's forearm. Nah. He goes like to All Might's elbow height when All Might is in his buff form. So pretty tall. And he's also pretty big. He's not as buff as All Might, but he is pretty muscular. He's like half of All Might in terms of how buff he looks. Like when All Might's in his buff form, he's half of that. And he's also to his elbow height, like I said. So people have noticed that he's been training more, growing taller, and looking just at all better. But they thought it was just his quirk, and how he must have been watching some sort of anime where they were just like powerful and muscular, and he just had his quirk subconsciously turned on all the time. So he'd still been training his quirk, but he had more or less been focusing on himself. So Aizawa tells them about the festival. They plan as usual, but this time Deku doesn't really plan to be in it that much. You see, this time I'm gonna say instead of Deku and Lemillion, I mean Deku did save Eri. I'm gonna say it was Kirishima. Yeah, sure, why not Kirishima? But so, or like, yeah. But so this time Deku didn't really plan on being there. So Deku is sitting there thinking about how he's going to catch Gentle Criminal. And so after that, class goes normal, you know? And so let's fast forward a week, and it's a few hours before the festival. Now, everyone in class 1A, they still needed a few props because they'd forgotten some and some weren't in condition to be used, so they needed to get new props. So they asked Deku to go get them because everyone else needed to be ready and prepared, and they knew he didn't plan on being in it. So as long as he showed up early enough before their performance, it would be fine. So Izuku goes down, and as Izuku's walking out, he looks over to his side, and he sees this guy that looks like Gentle Criminal, except he's poorly disguising himself, like in the worst disguise ever, is what Izuku's thinking. And so Izuku's like... So Izuku instant transmissions back to the dorms, tosses the stuff to Bakugo, and Bakugo catches it, like, nerd. And instant transmissions back, and he touches the guy on the shoulder, and Gentle Criminal turns around and is like, hello, young man. What do you need? And Deku's like, I don't think you should be going to UA today, Gentle Criminal. My classmates in the school as a whole kind of has a little thing going on. And Gentle Criminal realizes he's been caught, so he takes off the disguise and starts laughing and says, young man, you're smarter than you seem. But unfortunately, I will be going to UA today, and I'll be off right now. Bye. And so he trampolines away, and Deku jumps after him, and then he puts up an air shield, and Deku, like, swings, like, grabs onto the underside of the shield and then lands his feet on it, and then pushes off of it as, like, a boost. And then he lands on Gentle Criminal's back and jumps off of it so that he jumps higher into the air, and Gentle Criminal gets pushed towards the ground. And then he looks back down, and he does a backflip, and he grabs onto Gentle Criminal's legs and slams him into the ground. And then, so they don't even make it all the way up into the forest yet. But so Gentle Criminal is looks like he's been caught, but I'm pretty sure her name is like La Brava or something, right? Like that. So he gets like the boost from her quirk, and so he gets stronger, and he pushes Deku off, and he's like, "Oh man, I didn't want to do this, but unfortunately you intervened, and I think you'll be out for a bit, but don't worry, you won't be dead." And so he charges towards Deku, and Deku looks, and he's throwing a fake right. And so Deku backs up, because Gentle Criminal's plan was him dodge to the left and then he'd get hit. But Deku had also been studying some fighting tactics, and what fighting tactics were most common amongst types of people. And he realized if he were to fight Gentle Criminal, he'd probably use a tactic or something like it. So Deku backs up and backflips and then lands and says, "You'll never touch me. And you'll also never touch Yue. Even though I don't exactly agree with everyone I go to school there, I don't think that destroying some high school student's day and possibly entire year would give you a good name in a history book." And Gentle Criminal tells him that it doesn't matter if he has a good name in a history book, all he does is want to be remembered. And so Deku thinks, well, that was lucky. I just guessed on one of my 3 guesses. And so Deku talks about how Deku won't even fight him, but as long as Gentle Criminal stops doing these things forever and never does something like this again, he will make sure anytime he is in a news outlet, when he becomes number 1 or in top 10, he will tell all the media outlets that the Gentle Criminal was the strongest person he's fought. Right? So Gentle Criminal asks him if that is true, and Deku says he would never go back on his word, because he's not like some other people. And when he means some other people, he's referring to mostly Izumi and Bakugo, but also to Momo. So he was like, I would never go back on my work. Unlike some people I know, I'm not that disgusting and pathetic. So Gentle Criminal kind of falls on one knee and is like, and says thank you, and that he turned himself in. And Deku says okay. And just to make sure, Deku sends a shadow clone to follow Gentle Criminal, and Gentle Criminal does turn himself in. But so after that, the festival goes flawless, and La Brava is not turned in. But so I don't know what, I might do something with her later down the line, but yeah, I think that's the end, but I will be uploading for the next week and a half. I'll be scheduling them. Peace.